Hey y'all, this is Kylie from Wild Lemon Fitness. Thanks so much for joining us in our online studio. Let's work out. Hey y'all, this is Kylie. Thanks for joining me back in our online studio. I'm here at Wild Lemon. Today we're gonna do a little Pilates mat workout, a little full body, gentle, totally awesome for beginners or for all fitness levels. So let's start standing. Take a moment here, make sure that those ankles are right underneath your hips. We don't wanna be too wide or too narrow here. So just take that second, shake out those knees. We're gonna reach the hands overhead. Take a big inhale. And on the exhale, forward fold, softening those knees as you forward fold. I love the first forward fold of the day. Reach opposite hands to opposite elbows. Just allow that top body to hang heavy, softening up those hamstrings. Maybe add a gentle rotation side to side here if it feels nice. Good. Coming back through center, allow those hands to fall. Pull the belly button to spine, and we're gonna round all the way up to standing and slide those shoulders down and back. Reach those hands overhead. We're gonna clasp the fingers together and reach those arms toward the right as we press that left rib cage out. Think about breathing into that left lung, expanding through all those ribs. We've got little muscles between our ribs called intercostals, and they need to stretch just like every other muscle. On the next exhale, rotating back through center, arching in the opposite direction, pressing that right rib cage out. Big, deep breaths. Check in, make sure those knees are nice and soft here. And on the next exhale, coming all the way back through center, we're gonna drop those hands and roll out our wrists. We're gonna start with some plank work today. So I always like to start by rolling out our wrists. Let's ball up those fists, and we're rolling out all the way up in one direction, and then reversing that all the way down. Just trying to bring a little mobility to those joints before we put pressure on them. One more time, all the way up. And all the way down. Good, shake out those wrists. We're gonna bring the right hand out front and pull those fingertips toward the body, feeling the stretch all the way down the forearm. Big, deep breaths. One more time. And then switch out those hands. Left hand comes forward. We're pulling those fingertips back. Big, deep breaths. Nice. Drop those hands, maybe give them a really good shake. And we're gonna come to the top of our mat and start with planks today. So soft bend in the knees again. We're gonna reach the hands overhead. This time we're diving forward like we're diving over a giant beach ball. Really rounding down, lifting up to those tippy toes, landing those hands gently on the mat, and then walking out in 4 counts, keeping those hips lifted in that downward facing dog, lowering the heels, maybe pedaling out the feet. Good deep breaths here. Lower both heels down. Place those hands about mat width apart. Big inhale here, and on the exhale, rounding forward, belly button to spine into that plank position. We're gonna hold this plank just for a couple big deep breaths. Option always to come down to your knees or your forearms here. Think about lifting up out of the shoulders, pressing those hands into the mat, pulling those abdominals in. Big deep breaths. And on the next exhale, shifting the weight back to that downward facing dog, stretching out those shoulders, pedaling out those feet, and connecting this movement with the breath. Exhale, rounding forward one more time. Let's hold here. We're gonna walk our feet out, right foot out, left foot out, right foot in, left foot in. Pulling those abdominals in and breathing. Just little bitty step outs here. Let's do one more set. And then lower those knees wide to the mat, untuck the toes, press back to your child's pose. Wiggling out those hips. We're just bringing a little warmth into the body before we get into our Pilates mat. A little circuit here. Wiggle out those hips. Maybe walk the hands to the left of the mat. Take any extra movements that feel really nice in your body. And then walk your hands to the opposite side of the mat. If this is your first time moving today, or maybe in a couple of days, be extra gentle here. Take a little extra moment and listen to your body. It'll tell you what it needs. Round through the spine, we're gonna pop up to all fours, and we're gonna start with some cat-cows today. So, widening out those fingers, pressing the hands into the mat. Take a moment and make sure that those knees are underneath our hips, wrists are under our shoulders. Take an inhale, we're gonna drop the navel as we lift the gaze. And on the exhale, round the spine. Inhale into that cow. Exhale into that angry cat. For 3. Two. And last one. Nice. Exhale, round through the spine. We're going to come back to a neutral spine here. Cross the legs under the body and come to sit on the mat. Legs are going to come out front. Shake them out. Let's start with a little forward fold just to soften everything up. Reach the hands overhead. Forward fold, rest. Good. Sitting up tall, we're gonna stack our spine. Should feel those sits bones underneath the body. Let's reach the hands out front and slide those shoulders down and back. Big inhale here. On the exhale, we're gonna round all the way down to the mat. Hopefully I'm close to the edge. If not, I'll scooch down. You're not confined to the edges of your mat. Send those feet wide to the outside corners of the mat, and we're gonna drop both knees to the left and then to the right, loosening everything up. A little gentle warm up before we get into the work. You're gonna get a lot more out of this work if you pay a little bit more attention to your warm up. Build a little flexibility so we can build some strength. Good. Plant those feet down on the mat. We're gonna reach the hands overhead, slide the shoulders down and back. Big inhale. On the exhale, we're peeling up to a seated position. Use that core, squeeze the glutes to lift you up, and then rounding back down to the mat. Reach the hands overhead. Inhale at the bottom, exhale. Lower those arms like we're lowering through mud. Have those lower arm muscles work for you here. Articulating through the spine. We're just warming up this core. Let's do 3. 2. And last one. Rounding all the way down to the mat. Draw both knees into the chest, allowing the weight of the bones of those legs to just decompress your low back. Add a little gentle sway side to side. I'm often closing my eyes whenever I'm practicing Pilates or teaching Pilates, and I encourage you to do the same. That's gonna help you really tune into your body and kind of cancel out anything that could distract you in your line of vision. So you're welcome to close your eyes or keep your eyes on me, whatever you decide. I'm gonna extend my legs long on the mat here, keeping my knees soft. Reach my hands overhead. Watch my rib cage here. See how it's nice and protruded out when I reach those arms up? On the exhale, we're gonna sink the ribs down as we peel all the way up and over and stretch for a little roll up. Really taking advantage of the stretch at the top, then stacking the spine, hands out front, nice active arms. Exhale, rounding down with control, placing one bone at a time on the mat, reaching the hands overhead. Stretch. We're gonna do 4 more of these. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, sink the ribs, pull the belly button to spine, up, up, and over, reach. Rounding down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale into the movement. Reach. For the last two, we're going to add a little bit of a challenge here. Thank you to Kathy Grant Pilates, who gave us these challenges in our roll downs. Slide the shoulders down and back. Nice active feet. Inhale. On the exhale, we're going to roll down to a count of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tap the fingers. Inhale. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and reach. Good. If you don't know who Kathy Grant is, I encourage you to Google her. She was an iconic Black Pilates instructor. She trained all of the New York City Ballet and had her own Pilates studio inside Bendel's in New York. So a little Pilates history for you. Sitting up super tall, we're adding on more challenges. Inhale, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to hold here in this challenge point. Lift an inch and lower an inch. Lift and lower. 2 more times. Lift and lift. I'm shaking with you. Lower all the way down. 5, 6, 7, 8. Reach those hands overhead and rest. My abs are nice and warmed up. I'm going to walk my feet to the left side of the mat and cross my right ankle over the left. And then walk my hands over for a little banana pose or a crescent moon stretch, opening up that side body. And on the next exhale, uncross that ankle, walk our hands and feet to the opposite side of the mat, cross that left ankle over the right, and stretch out that side body all along the side. We're trying to create a little space between those ribs. So we can take big, nice, healthy, deep breaths. On the exhale, we're going to come back through center and walk those feet back in. So knees are bent, sinking down into the mat. Slide the shoulders down and back. We're going to do some pelvic clock work today. So imagining we've got a round clock with a face, remember those, and we're going to place that imaginary clock right on our pelvic bone here. So using our imagination, that's a really important element of Pilates today. We're going to imagine our belly button is 12 o'clock, top of our pelvic crest is 6 o'clock, and our hips are 3 and 9. And we're going to rock between that 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, waking up that lowest lumbar spine, those low abdominals. This is an excellent little rock you can do if you're feeling a little tight in your low back. And then settle into a neutral pelvic position. We're going to rock side to side, hip to hip. Make sure we're breathing here. Waking everything up. Good. Settle into a nice neutral pelvic position. Press those feet into the floor, squeeze your glutes, reach those hands to the ceiling, big inhale. On the exhale, we're gonna peel up to a rib hinge. So as we're lowering those arms, lowering them through water, lifting up over the ribs, begin to pulse those arms like you're slapping water. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale and exhale. 3 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more really good inhale into the back body. And on the exhale, we're going to lower the head down with control and draw those knees into our chest. That was the first 50 of the 100. Feeling nice and warm. Rock side to side. Maybe draw some circles on the ceiling here with your knees, softening everything up. And for the next 50 of the 100, you get to choose your challenge here. So we can keep these feet on the floor, or we can have the knees in tabletop. You can even extend your legs long, hovering over the mat if that's what feels really good in your body. Head can be resting down on the mat, or we can be pilled up to a rib hinge. So pick your poison. It's your workout. It's your body. Listen to what feels good to you. I'm gonna start with my knees in tabletop. Slide the shoulders down and back. My pinkies are slightly rotated in. That's gonna wake up my triceps. Big inhale, and on the exhale, we're peeling up and we're pulsing those arms again like we're slapping water. I'm feeling this here. Underneath the arms. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale and exhale. 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Last deep inhale. Exhale slowly. Draw those knees into your chest just for a moment. Rock it out side to side. And we're gonna plant those feet down to the mat. We've done some pre-Pilates, warmed up our core. Let's warm up our posterior chain, warm up those glutes. So we're walking the feet down and back toward our glutes. I can reach for my heels here with my fingertips. They're pretty close in. And I'm sinking down, sinking the ribs, anchoring that low back down into the mat. Pressing my hands down into the floor, tucking my chin. So my entire back body is glued down to the floor here. That's what we're looking for. Pulling that core in, digging the heels in. Big inhale at the bottom. On the exhale, just with a flat back, we're gonna lift the hips, bouncing between those shoulder blades, squeezing the glutes. Let's hold this here for a couple of breaths. Think about dragging your heels towards your body, sending those kneecaps away. That's gonna activate those hamstrings even more. On the next inhale, we're gonna drop those hips and hover over the mat. On the exhale, squeeze and lift. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Inhale and exhale. We've got 7 left. We're doing 10 total here. Stay with me. You can take breaks if you need to. Just come back stronger. And these can be even smaller. If this doesn't feel really good in your body, you can always hover a little bit higher, make this a little smaller, or you don't have to lift your hips as high. Let's do these last 3. 2. And last bridge, lift those hips high. We're gonna articulate down, sinking the ribs first. Tailbone is the last to tap. Then draw those knees into the chest and rest. Feeling nice and woken up in our glutes. And we're gonna do 2 more variations of that. So let's start with our little sumo bridge here. So just like a sumo squat, we're gonna take our knees wide to the outside edges of the mat and press that pelvic bone down. And same thing here, hands are pressed into the mat along my sides, sliding the shoulders down and back, nice open chest. Big inhale at the bottom. On the exhale, dig those heels in as we lift the hips. Feeling this a little bit differently in your medial glute. And the same thing here, we're gonna do 10. Inhale down, exhale up. 9, 8, 7, 6. I'm counting you down. I'm holding us both accountable here. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last big squeeze all the way up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Then lower all the way down. Drop both knees to the left for a little windshield wiper. And then both knees to the right. Connecting back to your breath. Thinking about what muscles are working to support these movements. Maybe waking up muscles that you didn't know were there or haven't felt in a while. Let's bring those legs together like we've got one long leg here, or mermaid tail, or merman tail. I don't know who's watching this. I'm a them tail. Everybody's welcome to do Pilates. Walk those feet in together, glue those inner thighs together, press the hands down into the mat. Big inhale. Once again on the exhale. This time as we lift the hips, we're squeezing our inner thighs to keep those legs glued together. Woo, that's a burner. Inhale, we're gonna lower. Exhale to lift. 9. Connect the breath. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. 6, I think. 5, 4, 3, 2. Squeeze those inner thighs. Lift all the way up. Hold this bridge. Big, deep breaths. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. One more time, draw those knees into your chest and rock out that low back. Yes. And then bring those knees into tabletop. I'm going to reach my fingertips underneath my thighs and rock up to a seated position. That's always a good party trick. And extend my legs long on the mat. Let's start with a little forward fold. If you're off of the mat like I am, just scooch right back on. Shake out those knees. Hands overhead, forward fold. Stretch out those hamstrings. Good. Let's stack the spine sitting up tall. Adjust your leggings if you need to. And my feet are about hip width apart here. So they're not super wide or narrow. They're just shooting straight out from my hips. And we're going to do rotational twists today. So let's go into genie arms and slide the shoulders down and back. So we're going to reach for the hands to opposite biceps and then pull those arms apart. That's going to connect your back body, those serratus and lower trap muscles. Sitting up super tall on the inhale. On the exhale, we're going to rotate to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, rotate to the left. Watch what's moving here and what's staying still. I'm rotating from my torso, not from my hips. So if you look down at your toes and you're noticing one foot is reaching as you rotate, try to keep those hips really stable. Try to make this motion straight from the ribs. This is that muscle that we need to strengthen when we're driving in the car and we're reaching for that water bottle in the back seat. Or whatever's in the back seat. We got to have some range of motion for that. We don't want to tear a rotator cuff reaching for a water bottle. That's real rookie move. All the way back through center, reach the hands overhead, forward fold, stretch. We've woken up our posterior chain. We're going to finish our ab series and then stretch. So lowering all the way down to the mat. Abs are nice and warmed up from roll-ups earlier in our 100. So we're going to get right into the work, drawing the knees into the chest. I'm going to peel my head and shoulders off of the mat and reach my fingertips toward my ankles. On the inhale, I'm reaching arms and legs in opposite directions, swinging the arms around and crunch on the exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Keeping that low back connected to the mat. If you feel your low back arching up, make those legs a little bit higher. I don't want that back arching up at all. Reaching, we're crunching. If we're arching, we're in the danger zone. I just watched Top Gun the other night for the first time, so now danger zone is part of my vocabulary. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and last set. Drag those knees into your chest. Rest. Roll out that low back. Lift the hips if you need to. Adjust whatever you need to. And we're going to get right into single leg stretch. So let's extend this right leg long behind us. In front of us. And I'm going to reach for my calf muscle because that's what feels really good in my body. Maybe in your body it feels nice to reach for your thigh. Just don't reach for your knee. We never want to put pressure on the joints. I'm going to hover my left leg over the mat. We're pulsing this right leg toward the body or from here. All bodies are different. All bodies are good bodies. Let's give this leg a pulse and then switch and reach for this left leg, dragging it toward the body. I'm reaching my opposite leg toward the wall On the other side of the room, always stretching, finding the length. And we're gonna add those pulses and switch. Let's do 3, 2, and one more set. Knees come into the chest, lower the head, rest. Feels so good to move your body. I am sweating with you. Shake out those hips. We've got 2 more ab exercises. We're in the home stretch, y'all. Rock it out. Catch your breath. Slower, slower, lower. Slow that heart rate. Shake out those shoulders. And we're gonna end with crisscross, and then we'll add a little flavor on the end, okay? So there are 2 left. Drag the knees into tabletop. You're gonna press your head into your hands and then peel up into your rib hinge. Big inhale here. On the exhale, I'm gonna rotate from the torso and then extend my right leg long, reaching my right elbow toward the left knee. Coming back through center on the inhale. Exhale into the twist. Inhale through center. Exhale into the twist. Notice how slowly I'm going through this exercise. This is not the work. This is just tugging at your neck. So find that balance first. Find your breath. Press those abs in. Exhale into the twist. Inhale, reset. Exhale into the twist. Let's do 3. 2. And one more set. Draw the knees into your chest. Soften where you can. I know I said one last, but I lied to you because we do now as our one last ab exercise. Let's be real, everything in Pilates is abs. So there's no last ab exercise. But for today's class, we're gonna extend those legs long. We're gonna reach the hands under the head and press the head into the hands if that feels nice. If it doesn't, keep that head pressed into the mat. We're gonna flex both feet. And on the inhale, we're gonna lower those legs, then point the toes and lift on the exhale. For 5. 2. And last one. Woo, my abs are on fire. Yours probably are too. You did it. We crushed it. We're done with godforsaken abs. And we're gonna rock up to seated and flip over to our stomach and stretch out that core. So lowering down all the way to the mat. Flip your hair out of the way. We're gonna sink down and send those hands out from the corners of the mat. So I'm in like a high Y with my hands. I'm pressing the tops of my feet into the floor. Neck is long. On the inhale, we're gonna lift the chest into a little baby swan. And on the exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Let's stay lifted here. Turn your attention to your booty. We want peaches, not prunes. So soften that booty. I want you to feel this stretch in the middle of your back. And then on the exhale, lower down. If you find yourself every time you lift your chest, you only want to squeeze your glutes, try to relax those glutes. Give yourself a stretch in the mid back. We all need it. Exhale down. Widen those knees to the outside edges of the mat. Press back to your child's pose. Wiggle out those hips. Breathe deep. Let's press back up to all fours. I am really sweating here. This is real life stuff, y'all. Reality TV. Inhale, we're gonna drop the navel as we lift the gaze. Exhale around the spine. Hopefully feeling a lot more limber than we did 30-ish minutes ago. Inhale and exhale. Then tuck those toes. We're going to lift the hips and rock back to that downward facing dog, stretching out those calves, alternating, dropping one ankle then the other. Then lower those heels down to the mat. Stretch. On the exhale, we're going to keep our legs as straight as possible and walk those feet to our hands and soften the knees. Forward fold, adding that little rotation. Right back where we started, but hopefully feeling a little bit different than we did at the beginning of this class. Release those hands, round through the spine, dragging that upper body up. 30 minutes of Pilates. Full body, no joke. I'm sweating. I hope you are too. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you next time.